Turning truth to lies. Gotta get up, stop wasting time. Yeah, I wanna run off and fly. And I'll tell myself it's fine to be alone. Just to find somewhere that finally feels like home. I hate all this overthinking. The more I swim, the more I'm sinking. Take me to a world of silver. No more heartbreaks, tears, painkillers. Take me somewhere unfamiliar. Bring me back to where we started. Get me out of now. To where we started. Get me out of now. To where we started. Crowded places, feel it sinking in. Lonely faces, say you need a friend. No matter the distance, I will always be there. No more inhibition, I'll show you again. You've been lost and alone in the city lights, I know. Getting high, feeling low, and it's out of your control. You should know that I won't leave you. I'll stay beside you. I'm never letting you go. You've been lost and alone in the city lights, I know. But I will guide you home. But I will guide you home. But I will guide you home. Fight yours.
Hello, everybody, and welcome into Friday Night Money Racing Live. FEG-PC hosting under the bright lights of Daytona International Speedway. Thank you all so much for tuning in. You're watching Austin Green on Ghost Racing Network. Drivers have gotten in their virtual trucks, ready to get going, and so are we. Let's get things kicked off tonight with your starting grid. Taking the pole, it's going to be Cody Nagels. He puts down a pretty impressive lap at a 51.7 for Dale Cup. Kevin Fries will roll off to his outside. Second man on the front row, Josh Bonwell. Jeff Merck making up row number 2. It's Chad Ross back in 5th. Good to see the Team 3 veteran and captain back in the field tonight. Michael Triscaro for Team PGR. He will start 6th. Mark Von Dell back in 7th. Brandon Matson 8th with Ron Morris Jr. in 9th. Zach Range rounding out your top 10. Carl Matt starts 11th. It's David Sheets to his outside in 12th. John Mullahan in 13th with Art Greco in 14th. Ken McCullough Jr. in 15th. Mike Toomer in 16th. Joey Allen back in 17th. Tony Cox in 18th. And Tucker McClendon, Matthew Baker rounding out your 20 truck field here tonight. Taking a look at the race info, it is the FNL 88. We're in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. A little bit of a shorter one here tonight. 35 laps. It's going to go by in a hurry, but still expecting a pit stop. 50% fuel is going to put these guys probably somewhere right around 16 laps worth of fuel. Everybody does have unlimited tires and, as always, fixed setups. But the big key tonight is no fast repairs. So you got to keep your truck clean, because if you get it messed up early, could bring your race to an end. Have no shot at money at the end of this thing. Track temp nice and cool, 72, as we are in nighttime at this 2.5-mile super speedway oval with over 30 degrees of banking in the corner, 70 degrees outside, 2% humidity, partly cloudy skies, and winds at 2 miles an hour. All right, a lot of things coming up, so this race means a little bit more to some of these guys than usual. Again, with all the podium events going on, of course, the podium heats the last couple days, the LCQs tomorrow morning, and the duels. You see a lot of the field that's in this race tonight will be competing in those, including your pole sitter Cody Nagels, Kevin Fries as well. So these guys going to be going for a lot tonight, trying to get some practice with the aggression level they're going to need to have tomorrow. And what better way to do it than to have a chance at winning some money yourself here on the night. So we'll see what happens. Watch for Kevin Fries to maybe be working with the Dale Cup guys here on the night, and then Michael Triscaro on the 34. If anybody thinks about 3 wide, you got to think it might be the Team PGR captain. We'll see what he decides to do. Talk a little bit more about, well, we don't really actually have an idea to say what payouts are going to be tonight. We know what the entry fee is, and we know that the payouts are going to be as good as they can based off of that. And this is a pretty strong field, all things considered. I mean, hey, 35-lap race, 20 trucks. Let's do this thing. Here we go. Pace car is going to pull off for the first time here tonight. Money racing live at Daytona International Speedway. Green flag is in the air. First time onto the Daytona Superstretch here tonight, and it's the outside that's rolling early. Jeff Merck, Kevin Fries tandem up, opposite of what that bottom's got going. Josh Bonwell is not yet to the back bumper of Cody Nagels. He's got nothing going into turn number 3. That left Fries an opportunity to drop down, but felt no need necessary yet. Usually the top is the place to be. It'll roll a little better, and with the cooler track temp tonight, temps are going to last a little longer. Jeff Merck can do a little bit more pushing on the back of Kevin Fries. Oh, Bonwell with trouble as he's in the grass, and he's going to actually blink out. Oh, my goodness. Josh Bonwell with major issues, technical issues, right off the green flag here before we can even complete the lap. Oh, man, that's a tough break. Let's go back, take a quick peek here. Watch his wheel. This is, I forget what happens here. Yeah, I'm thinking something had to happen there. Something major for him to turn the wheel that far left in a hurry. That's a tough break. Bonwell had a good qualifying effort. Shuffles things up, however, a little bit at the front, as you saw Kevin Fries. He's going to jump now to the bottom in front of Cody Nagels. That'll give Jeff Merck a chance to get some clean air up top with some help from one of his teammates that he works with, especially, I believe it's in the Thursday night races, and that's Michael Triscaro. Just behind them, Brandon Matz, trying to see what he can do here tonight. One of the few Toyotas that we have in the field, but 2x2 right now for the first 6 rows as they climb the over 30-degree banking here at Daytona International Speedway. After that, things starting to single file out and starting to civilize out a little bit, as it seems like a lot of guys content with just riding around for a little bit. And again, when you don't have a fast pair in a race, that seems to usually be the case. And up front, a little bit more aggression here as Merck got clear to the bottom. So did Triscaro. Both of those trucks quickly make the move down. They want no part of staying up any longer than they need to. Further back, there goes Zach Range back to the top. Tucker McClendon, Joey Allen. They're taking a risk jumping up to the outside. They're trying to get up there. Now, the draft is strong enough to keep everybody up in a pack, but when you have that gap right now that McClendon and Allen do, sometimes it's a little tough to pull up to the back bumper of those trucks in front of you. You got to get as many trucks out there as you can. It doesn't look like it was going to work out very well, so Tucker McClendon abandoned ship, quickly jumps back down to the bottom. So Team PGR currently leading the way, and one of the independent drivers as well in Brandon Matz. McCullough Motorsports in strong contention here tonight as well. They've got a pretty stacked field as Josh Bonwell still has not returned to track. So again, that may have very well been the end of his night, unfortunately. Joey Allen, Mike Toomer, good to see him back in the field tonight. There's Matthew Baker sitting back right now. Ken McCullough Jr., Tony Cox. We do have some of these guys on driver cam. We'll check that out in just a little bit. But up front now, how about the front two? Oh, pit stops, early pit stops here from the front group. Look at this. NBG tried some strategy. The 81 completely misses the pits. Brandon Matz with a big mental error right there, as he'll have to go back out on the track. He will lose all of his position. Not sure if he'll get a penalty, but that's a really tough break right there. Oh my goodness. Well, getting into the pits safely was, again, Cody Nagels for Dale Cup, Kevin Fries, Jeff Merck, Michael Triscaro, Matthew Baker. They're all going to get out just as cleanly as they got in. What an execution on the first round of pit stops here from some of the Dale Cup and NBG guys. We'll see how this front group reacts to that as they're working their way through 3 and 4 now. Do we see a pit stop right here from Sheets, Greco, Mullahan, and everybody else, or do they continue to stay out? Here we go off of 4. Mullahan's going to break down. That'll draw the rest of McCullough Motorsports. And there they all go as they bail out. Looks like so far so good. I think it drew the rest of them for a couple others. Yeah, certainly did. David Sheets, John Mullahan, Chad Ross did follow into this group as well. Ken McCullough Jr. should note, actually, I think went in with that first group. Whatever happened, finds himself on an island right now by himself. He's going to have to hope that he can hang with this group right here that just brought it down to the pits. Vondell Ross going to take just fuel for now. So I said that you could go about 16 laps. So I guess when you look at it, it was probably going to be really close. I'm surprised that nobody tried the strategy of saving, but they must have felt like it wasn't the right call, because you saw with that early stop, it kind of forced the hand of everybody else. And in fact, as we go back here, there's Matthew Baker and company. It looks like Merck is leading with his wingman pushing him behind. Cody Nagels, Triscaro, Kevin Fries still trying to get a little bit more organized with these two as they rock down the super stretch. Watch for them to get by everybody that already made that stop. Ron Morris Jr., David Sheets, John Mullahan, Chad Ross as well. And so I think maybe the biggest thing out of this is that just by that second group staying with them, they'll have to take a little bit less fuel on that final stop, which should help a little bit. But from this point on, again, count up about 16 laps from now, or just when the fuel window opens, it might be when they decide to bring it in. So we would expect that next stop with, if I had to guess, probably right around 20 laps complete. That would make it about 15 or 16 laps to go. Again, that could vary just a little bit, but 7 laps in, definitely not when we first or expected that first cycle of pit stops. Certainly when we got it, though. Brandon Matz back in 19th. Again, Bonwell did not return to track, so he is being scored as out of this race for now. Carl Matz as well. Double mistake on both of these two guys, and it's going to put him, well, it's going to definitely put Brandon lap down and Carl. I didn't think it's going to be too far behind as he's just working his way out of turn 2. And let's go back and take a look at exactly what put Brandon in this position. Boy, he tried to make a late bail to the pits, and you know, you think that you can make it happen, but the brakes are only so strong on these trucks, and just way, way too late. And then he finally realizes it, and I think he does himself a solid by you just decide to go back out on the tracks. If not, he's getting a huge speeding penalty, maybe an unsafe entrance. But it cost him so much time in the process. I mean, he came flying in there. So as a result, he has now lost a lap to the leaders. Mark Vondell back in 17th. Ken McCullough Jr., Joey Allen, these three are working together to try to stay on the lead lap. They're going to probably need a caution. Ron Morris Jr. at the back of the lead pack, which is currently consisting of 14 trucks. And by the way, there is Joey Allen, Ken McCullough Jr., and Mark Vondell. You see they're about less than a quarter of a track behind the leaders, but you got to keep an eye on the gap between the front bumper of Joey Allen and the back bumper of Ron Morris Jr. It sits currently at about 6.2 seconds. It's still extending, though, very slowly, a couple hundredths every couple hundred yards they run. So right now it's looking like that 3-truck tandem is not going to be enough to catch these leaders, and so they will indeed need a caution. Art Greco, Tucker McClendon, Zach Range, Tony Cox, Mike Toomer Jr. All these guys have not made that first stop yet. They're trying the opposite strategy, staying out here maybe for the long run and hoping that either they get a caution or that they can tick off some faster laps. And we can do a little comparison with these guys as well. Right now, as it stands, Jeff Merck about 27 28.2 seconds back. And the gap's been trading off a little bit here and there. A couple laps the first group's been faster, a couple laps the second group's been faster. So we'll keep an eye on that general trend. But again, remember that number, 27.3 seconds right now between Mike Toomer Jr. and Jeff Merck. Matthew Baker back in 7th in this group, and this is a strong pack. I mean, you look at the big dogs, the best of the best, you got quite a few of them right here. Jeff Merck leading, trying to change that luck around, maybe with a good cash spot here on the night. Matthew Baker, Cody Nagels, Michael Triscaro, what does he have in store? And nobody's going to make a move here. I mean, this is a long single-file draft train. This is classic Daytona, especially in a scenario like this where we know we're still expecting a pit stop. We just had our first one, and the goal for everybody right here is just make as much time as you can on that front group. The best way to do that is to break the air as much as possible, run almost like a slipstream through it. It's exactly what we're seeing right now, this long single-file draft train. One thing that I'm wondering a little bit here, though, is what we're seeing with some of the brakes. Is there maybe a little bit of fuel saving going on? I don't really see why, but certainly could be the case unless they're setting up for a run here to try to go get racy with these guys. Yeah, you see Mullahan definitely sagging back a little bit. By the way, the gap now between Merck and Toomer is extended a little bit by about 0.3 of a second. So right now it's that front group that's actually running the fastest laps. Not sure if this has anything to do with it, but Mullahan, Sheets, they continue to drop off here. They got to be careful. They could be in danger of losing this pack. Right now they're within half a second, but if you get to anywhere right around a second and a half or further back, all of a sudden you're not sniffing that draft anymore, and without the draft, you're going to fall in a hurry. And so already 24 laps to go at the World Center of Racing. Art Greco leading. And well, I'll tell you what, I haven't seen Art myself out here in a little while. It's really good to see him back in the money racing scene. Good to see him back and being able to broadcast him in general. A guy that has a lot of talent even without teammates. And Art Greco doing everything he can right now as he leads the field and doing a pretty good job. You see Zach Range giving him a nice little shove through the corner now. The two Mats fellas in the group here tonight, well, we'll hold that thought for just a second because we're going to finally have that round of pit stops from your leaders. And now this gets intriguing here. Does everybody get in cleanly? They do. Nicely done by Range, Greco, Tucker McClendon, Tony Cox. And looks like we get one more. Yeah, Mike Toomer Jr. A lot of coordination on the pit stops tonight. I'm impressed. These guys came to play. And so now we bring up the track map and wait in anticipation to find out how do they fare with this front group. And unfortunately, the answer is it's not even going to be that close. The problem for these guys, in hindsight, is even though they may have been gaining a little time, they had to take so much more fuel that it kind of burns them in the back end as there goes that front group. I mean, flying by at over 190 miles an hour. So there's nothing they can do as Jeff Merck will now claim, well, he's been leading this pack, but now he'll claim the lead of the race. As you take a look at dashboard and track temp, again, 73 degrees, very cool. That's helping with some of these fast speeds that we're seeing here tonight at just about 190 miles an hour here as they approach turn number 3. In fact, Merck will hit it. He'll go 1 or 2 over 191 as they barrel into turn number 3. So now it just becomes the game of when do we see that second pit stop and who goes in first, who doesn't, who stays out. It's going to be a fun one. Give a shout out to everybody watching here on the night. Devil Charger, good to see you. Shirley Cox, J.R. Miller says free Triscaro. And if you've been watching any of the podium over the last couple days, you know about that whole controversy and everything surrounding it. But certainly good to see you guys in here. Hope you're enjoying your Friday night. What better way to do it than with some FEG-PC money racing. By the way, last time we were here on the FEG-PC money racing scene, it was for the PC race itself. Fitting for the name, and we saw Matthew Baker actually get the job done. Won himself a brand new FEG custom PC. So there you go. Still waiting on arrival details for that, but I'm sure when he gets it, we'll get to hear a lot more about it. And pretty cool event. Series promoter Jeffrey Ford has put on for these guys, and a lot of earnings given out over the year, and the PC was just kind of like the cherry on top. I know a lot of guys appreciated it, and I'm sure we'll see more of the same here at the end of 2024. As we move into Speed Weeks, though, shows you just the talent that these guys can put in terms of sim work. And similar to what you'd see in real life in a truck series race at this point, single file action, bump drafting. The only difference is these guys have the option to actually lock bumpers in the sim. And you got to do that in these trucks. The runs are just too great to not. But I don't think you'll see anybody jump up. Nobody try to make a move. Again, this lead group, which initially I said was 14 trucks. I apologize for that. That was not correct. It was 9. And it still is 9 at this point. Ken McCullough Jr. has lost about 3 seconds in the pack that he is leading with those other 2 trucks since we took a last look at him. In fact, to go back here, yeah, Mark Vondell, this pack has grown because that group that pitted late has tagged onto them, so who knows here? Maybe they can start to work some of that time back up. Again, it's 9 seconds, and the problem is they really need to catch this time before this next pit stop when they're going to get broken up again. Just don't think that's going to happen. The first 3 trucks in that pack, or rather 3 of the trucks in that pack, are going to have to pit early. Everybody else is going to pit late. 20 laps now to go in Friday night money racing here at FEG-PC. Merck still leading the way, and we are about 4 to 5. I'll take it back. I'm going to say 5 to 6 laps from comfortably being in that fuel window. If you want to make sure you have enough for a couple green-white checkers, maybe you go even a couple more than that. I'm thinking 7 to 8. We'll have to find out. J.R. Miller says, hell of a job in your heat, Austin. Certainly appreciated J.R. Miller. Had a phenomenal spotter and Matt Lee for that one. And man, I'll tell you what, it certainly feels good once in a while when things kind of just play out. Maybe in a way you weren't expecting. I was kind of expecting to just roll and stay behind the guy and for the rest of the heat there, but as soon as he went down, said, okay, well, here we go, and things surely worked out. Things going to have to work out for a couple of these guys. By the way, I mean, you like what you're seeing here tonight. Again, make sure you tune in tomorrow to the Podium LCQs and Duels. You'll see a lot of these same guys in those events. As Tucker McLennan back here ducking out for a little bit of air, Mark Vondell and Brandon Matz, Carl Matz still drafted together. But looking at your scoring tower there on the left and what it's looking like for everybody, and give me just a second here. In fact, I'm not sure. It looks like it's almost maybe stuck. Apologize for that. We'll see if we can get that fixed here. Just a moment. Yeah, well, yeah, I'm not really sure what it's doing right now, but the point is, looking towards the back, the 20th place Josh Bonwell is the only man actually being scored a lap down, which is pretty impressive because I thought for sure the 2 Matts were going to go a lap down, but they haven't yet, and they're still just about half a track ahead of the leader, so they may not even have to worry about going a lap down the rest of this race, or if they do, it's going to be towards the end. But man, they're really, really hoping they can get a caution. We'll see. That's how things play out, but still all single file and calm. Let's stick right on board, though. One of the guys we do, again, have some of the driver cams tonight. Haven't taken a look at any of them yet, but I think now is maybe a better time than ever. And how about Team PGR's very own Michael Triscaro? So we hop on the cockpit view and take a look at the driver cam. Boy, he is laser focused right now, and can't blame him. It is, I'm telling you, it gets really stressful even in these single file lines because you know you got to stay close to keep the speeds up, keep everybody nice and tight, but you never know when there could be a little bit of a checkup. You got to be on your toes 24/7, and the driver out of Chagrin Falls, Ohio, doing a nice job. Still looking for that first win in his own series, but plenty of speed, and right now in a good position to maybe get a catch spot here tonight as he rides behind Dale Cup's Cody Nagels. Going further back onto that second pack, Tony Cox back in 13th position, currently sits 4th in line, just behind Art Greco, Joey Allen, and Kevin McCullough Jr. This is the driver out of Alexandria, India, runs a ghost scheme on the Xfinity car, so always like when Tony's got a driver cam, like to give him some love up here from the booth, and Tony doing a nice job right now. He's up 5 positions in total from where he started. Again, just coasting right now, maybe saving a little fuel, doesn't need to push the issue. No reason to, and then let's go back even further. Here's a pretty cool view for Zach Ranges. He's actually making some adjustments on that wheel right now. Again, very interesting to see, but yeah, he's got a Formula 1 wheel. And I wonder if, now there's no way these guys can make it on fuel still, but yeah, nonetheless, really cool setup there for Zach Ranges, the Formula 1 wheel, the triple monitors. We don't see a lot of guys run that kind of wheel on a super speedway, but Range, no issues with it. And another guy that, with being in that pack, I mean, the run he's had tonight's been solid, but just think he's going to need a caution. I just don't see how the strategy works out for that second group. So as we go back live up front, we're going to be coming to 15 laps to go. Fuel windows open. Question is, who goes first? Here we go. First move for the final pit stop. It is going to be everybody in the front group. They're going to fan out 2 and 3 wide. Got to be careful here. Hard on the brakes. Old tires. That cool track temp keeps everybody in shape, everybody in line. And again, what a beautiful sequence of pit stops these guys just executed right there. So Jeff Merck, he'll come in leading. We'll see if he comes out as the leader. Brandon Matz, ooh, man, close call right there for Cody Nagels. And he still gets in. Man, nice job right there. As the 82 machine of Carl Matz, he'll work his way out of the box. So let's see who wins the race off of pit road. I think this one was just 2 tires, lefts, and fuel. It's going to be Matthew Baker. So again, saving a little bit of fuel by running in that draft. Paid dividends right there. They're still battling this thing out for who gets what spot here. Merck and looks like Merck, Freeze, and Nagels are finally going to get things sorted out, and this does well, I thought this would hand the lead over to the lead pack, but they did the same thing. They decided to pit the same lap. They wanted to keep that gap from extending any further. Ken McCullough Jr., Tony Cox looked like they all did pretty good getting out, as did Zach Range. Those three have got to get locked together pretty soon. Maybe hope that they can pull up one or two more trucks. Joey Allen, Mike Toomer. And so now the race is on, and you better believe Jeff Merck is getting ready to make a move because he's got to run. Well, maybe not so much here. He pulls up to the back bumper of John Mullahan, but he's going to keep it there for now. See Michael Triscaro, and as it looks like that's Chad Ross, still trying to make sure that they have enough speed to tag on with these guys. I think they do. And as for, did Josh Bonwell get back in here? Yeah, he sure enough did. The 56 machine is back. The unfortunate news is how many laps down he probably is after that technical difficulty he ran into right at the start of the race. And if we got a caution, I assume they might give him his laps back. But so after that pit stop, you got Matthew Baker leading, by the way, up 19 positions from where he started this race at. By far, he is the biggest mover in the field tonight. John Mullahan currently sitting back in that second spot. Jeff Merck in third. Those three rounding out your podium. Cody Nagels in fourth. Kevin Freeze in fifth. Michael Triscaro sixth with Chad Ross in seventh. Ooh, the 82 of Carl Matz. A big moment right there as he got up by the wall. Almost came back down into traffic. But looking, it's David Sheets. As Sheets is trying to hang on, and I think he's going to here. Ron Morris Jr., unfortunately, not sure if he made a mistake or got a penalty, but he has lost sight of that first draft. He's going to be getting some from the second pack right here. And the gap has just gotten bigger, unfortunately, now over 12 seconds. Well, that's actually from your leader. I take it back. So looking at the gap between, let's say, Ron Morris Jr. and David Sheets, I mean, it's still 10 seconds. I don't think they have enough time with what's going to be 13 laps to go as he'll see Zach Range and his teammate. And then Tony Cox goes zipping by on the inside. And so with the lead pack here, as David Sheets, by the way, falling 2 seconds back, he is in a really odd spot. He's between about three bridge trucks, so I think he's got a shot here. But he really needs to pull up to the back bumper of these guys quick. As you see now, it's closing to under 2 seconds. Sheets might be okay here. And so we'll go ahead and count Sheets in, and what that would do is make it an 8-car lead pack. You got Dale Cup and NBG up here. NBG currently sitting first, third. Dale Cup looks like Cody Nagels back and forth. I think Kevin Freeze might be working on that team tonight. And then Team PGR with Michael Triscaro, Team 3 with Chad Ross. So still a relatively good mix, and I definitely think we'll see some racing towards the end of this thing. But if you're John Mullahan, you really got to make sure you save this move for the right time, or honestly, maybe just consider sticking with Baker the rest of the way. We've seen Mullahan do that before, and it's worked out pretty well. But here we go. Nagels, he's ready to go. And he's going to go to the middle. And, ooh, Matz is going 3 wide on him here. Those are two, I believe, yeah, lap trucks here. You got to think that Cody and Merck probably aren't too big of a fan of this. Those two going to try to see if they can get... Oh, my goodness, man. That was really close. I'm telling you, these guys need to be careful here. You don't want to cause a wreck with the leaders if you're not on the lead lap, even if you're trying to get that lap back. And so Brandon Matz, as he drops back down the line, Carl Matz will try to line back up, and all of a sudden we're back down to 2 lanes. Matthew Baker leading the inside, Jeff Merck leading the outside. Mullahan versus Cody Nagels, the battle of the 2 6 trucks. And I think right now Michael Triscaro, Chad Ross may be okay with just hanging back a little bit, watching these guys for a minute, seeing if things calm down or if they stay antsy. And Merck with a little bit of a side draft now on his teammate. This will put NBG in very solid control of the field, working their way off of turn number 4. And again, this will be coming to 10 laps to go this time. Just 10 more times around the World Center of Racing. Tell you what we're going to do. We are going to take a quick break. Just going to skip a couple laps. We're going to get a drink of water, as should you. Meet us right back here for the finish. We'll be right back at Daytona. front. Now we're going to see a little four-wide action.
Crazy out of the trial.
Oh, he gets in the lead under record.
3x3 entering four.
Three dude.
Blocked.
At the flag stand, side by side, it's going to be Jason Maines winning it at Talladega. Back live at Daytona International Speedway, getting ready for the conclusion here with the FNL 88. And man, who's going to make that third lane first? I think that's the biggest question that we're all asking ourselves right now. You got a lot of heavy hitters up here. Again, not the biggest pack, but I can promise you that not all 8 spots that currently make up this lead pack are paying out. So somebody's got to make that move sooner or later. You just got to ask yourself, who's it going to be? Now, right now, Matthew Baker, Jeff Merck continue to stay side by side at the front. That's how it's been here for the last couple laps. Baker, I don't think I have to worry too much. If you're Merck, though, you got a very aggressive Cody Nagels behind you, and he's got a pretty aggressive series owner in Michael Triscaro for PGR just behind him. Triscaro, again, shaping it up now, looking even more tense than he was earlier in the single file line. He's going to stay up here, but now as Merck got clear, that's going to hurt this outside line for just a minute. Maybe give him some new surgeons as long as Triscaro's got enough temps to try to push Cody Nagels up there as they come to the trial. How about the comeback for David Sheets there? Was barely able to hang on to the lead pack. Hung on just enough to get a tow back up here. And since then, he has been making it count. Now that he's back up, third truck, playing just as crucial of a role as the lead pusher is on the outside. And I think we'll see Merck and Baker stay locked up like this on the bottom the rest of the way. So that pinches Mullahan, or rather traps Mullahan back to that third spot. Kevin Freese fourth on the inside. We'll see what Freese decides to do here as Nagels is going to draw back even. David Sheets, the only McCullough Motorsports driver. Well, he's only got one teammate, I meant to say. That's John Mullahan. If those two could get lined up, they could have a shot here. But instead, they're side by side. Not really many places to go here. It's a little bit of a gridlock. And again, Daytona is tighter than Talladega, so that third lane a little bit more tricky to get going, especially if they're bobbing and weaving, as you do when you get the aggressive pushing. 4 laps now to go as they cross the line. That time, Merck's going to let his teammate cool a little bit as he jumps back up to the top lane. And we have went completely green. We put up a poll at the start of this race, said, will we go green the whole way? 3 out of 4, you said absolutely not, no chance. Well, we're 3 laps away from it. You never know here as, Ron Horst Jr. almost blended up into the pack there, quickly saw it, stayed down. He'll jump in the back, and he's hoping here that he can stay on with the draft if he can. Even though he's a lap down, he might be able to get up here and try to assist one of his McCullough Motorsports teammates. But I don't think he's quite going to be able to hang on. So coming to 3 laps to go. Again, if we can make it to the white flag, then this race will be official. Matthew Baker still on the inside. Jeff Merck still on the outside. Again, if I had to guess, payouts tonight are probably ranging between top 3 and top 5. And no matter which option it is, we've got 8 trucks. So at least 3, maybe 5 of these guys are going to be going home empty-handed at the moment. So I still think we'll see that third lane. But I think it might be maybe Michael Triscaro, unless Cody Nagels is able to make the move first. But if Triscaro jumps up, I think David Sheets will probably roll with him. Wouldn't be surprised to see Chad Ross go up there. But then you'd have to watch to see if Kevin Freese jumps up to the middle to show some support for Cody Nagels. And what can Matthew Baker and Jeff Merck do? Again, they're controlling the lanes right now, but a lot of times, as you've known from real life and in a sim, sometimes being in the front isn't exactly where you want to be. A lot of times being the lead pusher in one of these lanes is the catbird seat, especially as wild as things can get. 2 laps to go. Last lap for a caution here at the World Center of Racing. That second pack, no chance. You see they are 20 seconds back. Ken McCullough Jr. still leading this big group, but all they can do right now is pray for a caution, and I don't think they're going to get one. Not with the single file line they've got going and the clean double file action that we've got going up front. Jeff Merck, the streak we talk about, so close to breaking it so many times. How big would this one be if he could get the win tonight? He has showed dominance. Nobody can say that he doesn't deserve one here tonight, but he's got to hold on for one more lap through the short chute. They are going to see it. White flag is in the air. 1 lap to go at Daytona. Everybody keeping it clean out of the trial. There's the third lane. Triscaro with a big block on David Sheets. Does Cody Nagels think about jumping up? He doesn't. He'll stay on the back bumper of Jeff Merck for now. Chad Ross has a decision to make. Which lane does he go with, and where does Kevin Freese go? Currently sitting just side by side with Cody Nagels. And he's not going to jump up for now because now he's pinned. That third lane's got 3 trucks, a 3 versus 2 battle. Triscaro's rolling up top. He'll get clear of the middle as he drops down in front of Jeff Merck. Final time into turn number 3. And this could come down to a drag race all the way to the line. Third lane fading, second and bottom lane surging. Here we go out of turn number 4. Michael Triscaro versus Matthew Baker. It's going to be a push all the way to the finish. Jeff Merck gives the boost to Triscaro, and he gets the win at Daytona. What a job by Jeff Merck and Michael Triscaro. Everybody there. They go green the whole way, and that was one of the best last lap races I have seen in a while. Nicely done, fellas. And what a win for Michael Triscaro as well. Right there at the end, Matthew Baker brings home second. Jeff Merck comes home third. And the reaction, maybe not saying it all right now, but I can promise you he's pumped up about it. Good little payday to take home. Man, oh man. Well, before we go any further, we got to go take a look at this finish here. I mean, this whole white flag lap was perfectly executed, and Triscaro kind of makes the winning move here himself with the block he throws on Sheets. Watch this. Coming into the trial, Sheets is going to get him some momentum here. This might have been coordinated, but watch. Sheets says, okay, I'm ready to go up. Triscaro sees it, says, me too. He's going to jump right up, and the block's clean. I mean, he gets up in time. Sheets decides that he'll be his dancing partner, works with him, and Cody had a decision for just a split second, decided to stay in the middle, commit to Merck. Triscaro gets there on the side draft, and it was good enough of a side draft that caused some problems. And then right here, I thought maybe Freese was going to get far enough back to maybe jump up behind Nagels, but he stays committed to the bottom. That leaves 2 hung in the middle. There's the big surge down the super stretch for Sheets and Triscaro. Triscaro gets clear, immediately jumps down, and then Jeff Merck. I mean, look at the pushing he does right here. From the entrance of 3 all the way to the finish, being nice and careful here, making sure that he's got him square, giving him a couple little love taps. As soon as they get off of 4, he says, all right, I'm giving you the chrome horn. That's what it's going to take to get this thing to the finish. And as they come into the trial here, going to TV3, look at this. You see Mullihan gets just a little offset of Matthew Baker. I think that's all it took for the 5 to fade back a little bit, and Triscaro gets it by about half a truck length. So as the celebrations just about wrap up here on the front straightaway, he might do a little bit more, burning it down. It's Cody Nagels. Or excuse me, this was qualifying. I was getting ready to say. What are we looking at? Michael Triscaro, I meant to say, your winner here tonight. Matthew Baker in second. Jeff Merck third. John Mullihan in fourth. David Sheets finishes in the top 5. Cody Nagels sixth. Kevin Freese in 7th. Chad Ross 8th. Ken McCullough Jr. in 9th. And Tucker McClendon rounding out your top 10. Zach Range back in 11th with Mike Toomer Jr. in 11th. Or excuse me, 12th. Tony Cox in 13th. Joey Allen 14th. Mark Vondell back in 15th. Art Greco 16th. Brandon Matz in 17th. Carl Matz in 18th. Rounding out the field here tonight, Ron Morse Jr. in 19th. And Josh Bonwell, unfortunately, after that technical difficulty, finishes in 20th. All right, we are going to go get your top 3 in here for interviews if we can. Stick with us. We'll be right back at Daytona. All right, going to start first tonight with your third place finisher, Jeff Merck. Jeff, this is Austin Booth. You got a copy.
Man, tell me, I ain't dreaming, right? I actually finished a race.
Yeah, well, I was just as confused as you were. I was thinking you'd be in the catch fence there coming to the line, but you don't. You keep it clean, and no surprise, you push a guy to the win. That last lap was probably one of the cleanest ones we've seen in a while. Break it down a little bit for us.
Yeah, I mean, it was They went 3 and Toscaro jumped up there. I didn't even realize it was Toscaro. I was trying to side draft him down the back straightaway. They didn't clear it and said, oh shit, that's Toscaro. So when he pulled down in front of me, I just got on his bumper and just stayed there and pushed as hard as I could to the line and got P3 out of it.
Well, I think the other question we got to ask is, now that you finally broke the streak of bad luck, do we see a turnaround and a couple of wins here in the near future for Jeff Merck?
But I hope so. I thought I might have had one there, but that third line comes so hard. I guess they were probably saving temps back there, and once they got rolling up top, they could just push nonstop, And my helper's constantly trying to keep me out front, so he got high temps, so he couldn't keep me out front. But I'll take a P3. The way my luck's been going lately, in the money's like a win to me.
Certainly is. Well, before we let you head out to enjoy your winnings here tonight, is there anyone you want to thank or shout out?
Yeah, I want to give a big shout out to NBG Motorsports, Baker for painting this Navy Blue Angels truck, Cody for doing the MIP file on it. Big shout out to EOL Podium. I think that's what I'm going to start calling them, because EOL, some people can get away with doing it, other people can't. So I don't understand some of their rules sometimes, but hey, they do what they're going to do. And a big shout out to FEG for putting this on, and looking forward to getting paid for change instead of losing money.
Absolutely. Well, thank you for talking to us here tonight, and hopefully we'll see you out here winning some more in the near future.
All right, Austin. Thanks, bud.
Thank you. And now that's going to bring us tonight to your second place finisher, Matthew Baker. Hey, Baker, this is Austin in the booth. You got a copy?
Oh, what's up, man?
Well, you bring home second tonight. It was a pretty close finish. Looks like 0.03 of a second was the final gap. Is there anything more you think you needed there off of turn 4? Was the push just too big on the outside?
Yeah, I think they were lined up pretty heavily on the outside with those 3 cars. But it's good to give Mike a win and get the 2 EOL boys from Podium in 1-2 spot here in FEG just to sweeten the weekend a little bit, even though we're missing out on the bigger payday. So it was fun running with those guys, and getting Merck back into the pay spot's great too.
Well, talking about pay spots and whatnot, for all the money that we had, of course, on the line here tonight, it was a clean race overall, right from the start to finish. What do you think it was tonight that kind of changed the mindset? I mean, you guys were single file. It looked similar to what we see in real life a lot of times.
Yeah, I think once we pit early, it kind of spread out the field, so there's going to be differing strategies, see if you can knock up a couple trucks, and we were able to make that work. And then the stragglers that tagged on with this, Malahan, Sheets, and Ross with really good pit stops, and Kevin as well. They were able to hang with us, but we just had the power and numbers when it came down to it towards the end. But it was a lot of fun for sure, racing with these guys. That number 34 truck looked pretty good up front and getting the win in the PGR truck, so it's a lot of fun.
Certainly was fun to watch. Well, before we let you head out tonight, is there anyone you want to thank or shout out?
Yeah, just thanks to Coasting Thunder, MBG Motorsports, Baker & Son Construction. Thanks to Toscaro and Merck and Cody there, executed pretty well. Kevin for helping us out on the pit stops and keeping John tucked up. Great push by Malahan there all the way through that final stop. I know he was double red coming out of 4, so he was gambling, rolling the dice, pushing me. So a lot of fun. And thanks to you for putting on the broadcast, buddy.
Well, thank you for talking to us. Congrats again on second place, and we'll see you out here next time.
Thanks, bye.
All right, now that's going to move us on to your winner here tonight, Michael Toscaro. Mike, this is Austin in the booth. Get a copy.
I do, man. How's it going?
Good. Well, a lot of controversy over in Podium the last couple days, and boy, you come out tonight and make quite the statement. 3-wide move. You make the block work on the outside. You and Sheets roll down the Daytona super stretch, and you catch your first victory over here in FEG-PC in a little bit of time. But, man, break us down, first of all, not just that last lap, but also the rest of the race and how you stuck with all these guys.
Yeah, man, it's just working with some of these guys. They're the best in the business here, and just fine-tune getting on pit road, getting off pit road. Did a lot of NSRA league racing. Got me a lot better at the pit stops just to kind of keep up with these guys. But, stayed in line and made the move when it counted tonight.
Certainly did. Well, tell you what, there's not too much else to say. I mean, the win itself was impressive. I'm still stunned at how clean the race went in general. So I guess on that note, before we let you head out tonight, is there anyone you want to thank or shout out?
Yeah, man, I got to thank pretty much Baker and Merck, got Cody, Kevin, Chad Ross with the great push. It's been a couple rough days. Obviously, getting knocked out of the podium 500 over an EOL. Looks like the EOL boys actually took first and second here tonight, so had a point to prove. Was going to take a kind of a break this weekend, but decided to get back in the truck actually tonight. But this is kind of relief for me, more so than it is, joy. Usually I'm pumping fists, pretty excited, but just relieved to get the victory lane. Actually, Austin, it's been about almost a year because you called my race on Valentine's Day last year in 2023. That was my first and, up until tonight, my last broadcasted win in the money. So this will be my second almost a year later. So it feels really good. I want to also thank my wife. She's been dealing with me all week long with this podium stuff, and she's going to be pretty excited when it ends. So on that note, the last thing I want to say is Better Half Dash Tuesday night. The wife's girlfriend's going to hop in the truck at Talladega. Should be a fun event over there. Appreciate everything you do.
Yeah, certainly will. I was going to say, looking forward to that. That will be broadcasted here on Ghost, by the way. Dawson Wise will be covering that. So we'll see you then. But as for tonight, congrats again on the win, and thanks for talking to us.
All right, man. Thanks.
All right, there you go, Michael Triscaro. And a lot of these guys, you see it in the chat right now, and you heard it through some of the interviews. They weren't too pleased with some of the podium rulings last night. Some of them felt like they had a point to prove, felt like they came out here and proved it. So with that note, that'll wrap up our coverage here on the night. Thank you all so much for coming out. Next place we head here on Ghost, at least for expected scheduling, is going to be on Monday night. The Fast Track Sim Racing Cup Series returns for the duels at Daytona. Make sure you don't miss out on that. Goes green at 9 p.m. Eastern. Hope everybody enjoyed. That'll wrap it up. For me, Austin Green here on Ghost Racing Network. Until next time, have a good night.